I don't have a hook for this video. Hi, I'm Micah, and today we're talking about the pros and cons of being 24 from a 24-year-old. Now, being 24 in a pandemic is another issue of itself because I had to be 23 and 24 in this pandemic, which sucks. I did not get to enjoy my pre-25 years. And people start treating you differently the closer you get to 25. Let's start off with the cons. Let's just get the negative stuff out the way. The first con of being 24 is that everybody just calls you 25. There's no respect on the age of 24. People do not care. I am not even 24 for 6 months yet. And for the entire duration of that 6 months, I've just been called 25. It's either your friends who are much closer to 25 than you will call you 25 because they're going to be 25, so they just want to feel like you're in the same boat, or people are just going to call you 25 when they want to highlight the fact that you're old. But in their mind, old, and therefore you should be doing X by this age. They love to call you 25 and just ignore the fact that, but I'm 24. And I think that that's probably something that 29-year-olds could relate to, because people are going to be lazy and they don't want to call you 29. They're going to be like, okay, you're 30. No, you're not. You're 29. That is a real age. When you're 9, you're 9. You are not 10. You are 9. There's a big difference between 9 and 10 because you go from single digit to double digit, and we treat it like it's a bigger transition, and we actually give the year to be the year, because 10 signifies some big change. I don't know why as we get older, we just care less and less about certain ages, I guess, and we just skip to the next chapter. I think also 25 is seen as a really important age, which goes into con number 2. There is a lot of pressure being so close to 25. It seems to be this weird nexus of being old, but being young. And it's almost treated like a halfway point, but like the human lifespan on average I think is like 72 years. Wouldn't the nexus point or the middle point be 36? Around 36, that's the nexus of youth and age. That's when I see the nexus of youth and age, where I see maturity, but also able to do basically everything you were able to do in your 20s if you kept relatively fit. Why is 25 seen as the age when you should have everything together? I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this and people may disagree with me. Your 20s are the teenage equivalent of an adult. You are a teenaged adult, because somebody in their 20s as an adult is very different from somebody in their 50s as an adult. And I'm talking about on a maturity level. I'm not talking about your physical capabilities or your interests. As we get older, our emotional maturity is supposed to grow. Our acquisition of property and resources is supposed to grow. You're 25. 8 years ago, you were an angsty teenager on Tumblr. You think that after 8 years, you're going to be so different from who you were when you were 17? I don't get it. There's such a weird pressure on 24 into 25. It's like, suddenly, I'm supposed to know everything. I'm supposed to have a bunch of things that I don't have. Like, we were trying to abolish all these limitations and age ideals that were set from previous generations, but we aren't changing anything. We're literally just reinforcing it. By 25, I want to have a house, or I want to be renting, or I want to have my own car, or I want to move out of my parents' home. Why? What does a 2 and a 5 have to do with it? It's because people put that pressure on 25. So at 24, you're here scrambling, feeling like, oh my God, I failed. I'm behind that life. Why do those videos on YouTube have I'm behind that life? And when you go in the comment section, most of the comments are people from 22 to 28 dealing with the pressures that come from being 25. I'm feeling, okay, I'm past 25 and I haven't done this, or I'm getting so close to 25 and I haven't done this. I'm speaking very quickly, but that means this is going to be a good video. There's too much pressure on 25. 25 is literally the middle of your 20s and is the middle of your teenage adulthood. You are 15. That's what you are. You're 15, you're 16. Let's say you're 16. You're 16 in adult years. At 16, what did you know? Stop listening to the 11-year-olds on TikTok. Okay, don't listen to the foolish people on Twitter who are always doing some mess talking about you're 28 doing this, you're 27 doing that. Shut up. Don't listen to them and create your own story. But I will say that it's hard. It's hard when you're 24 and everybody's trying to tell you like 25 is coming up. What are you doing? You got a car? You got a house? You got kids? No. It's not all doom and gloom though. There are some pros of being 24. The first pro is that you were so close to being able to rent a car. Unless you are me and you got your license at 24. Then you can't rent a car even when you turn 25 because you haven't been driving for at least 2 years. So what was the point of turning 25? That's a con for me. It's a plus for you if you actually were not a late bloomer like me and learned to drive from the ages of, let's say, depending on where you live, 16 to 21 like everybody else. I'm sorry, I'm a late bloomer. But if you did things in the more typical order, congratulations, you're so close to being able to rent a car. That one was kind of superficial. A real benefit, I would say, of being 24 is that, at least for me, I can feel my brain evolving. They say that, I think it's our prefrontal cortex doesn't reach maturity until 25. And at 24, I'm starting to feel that shift in my thinking in terms of like mood regulation and stuff like that. I really hope that the prefrontal cortex is in charge of that. Rational thinking. I feel like I'm getting better at that. In terms of communicating with other people, I literally made a video about parents and their relationships with their children, and I think that a lot of that has to do with now becoming like 24 older. My brain is able to more rationally analyze not so positive feedback that I receive and make sense of it and find the good in it. And that's something that I was not able to do at 23, 22, 21. I was very much a teenager in the way that I was thinking in a lot of ways. So I highly recommend that video. It's about healing your inner teenager. And I can feel that shift. I can definitely say that at 24, I finally started to shift my thinking, and that's a benefit. So if you are like 20 right now, that doesn't mean you don't do the work and you don't try to get better before you actually reach this age. But I feel like naturally, it will come to you because your brain, she's almost there. She's not 25 yet, but she's almost there. The final pro of being 24 is that you get to lie to yourself and defer all that societal and familial pressure for a bit longer. You get to still say that, by 25 I want X, Y, and Z, even though you know damn well that might not be the case. You still get to pretend, you still have the illusion, and then you turn 25 and then, but you still have the illusion right now. Something that I did forget to mention is that you do feel a bit of a quarter life crisis, but I didn't want to put that as a pro or a con, it's just a thing. Like you just feel it, and it's kind of linked to that societal pressure that you feel. So I guess I kind of covered it, but prepare for the quarter life crisis, prepare for it. I highly recommend that you check out the video I made about healing your inner teenager and learning to communicate better with your parents, because your inner teenager does not like your parents at all. Let me know what you think over there. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you all in whatever video you choose to watch of me next. Me, not anybody else. Bye!